Hello traders, today is Friday, January 31st, 2025. I'm going to start the video with Apple. This is not financial advice. This content is for educational purposes only. All right, so after earnings, we got this candle in the morning. We open, as you know, up here, and then a complete disaster coming into breaking resistance at 237 and then touching 233 and then coming back a little bit. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart. Just well, just because, well, why not? Anyways, you came here basically to the ascent on this level right here on this candle, and then you came back up. But then after hours, you had even a little more weakness coming in. To be honest, this is a pretty disastrous candle in my opinion. The only good thing, I guess, is that we were able to maintain this level of support. And at this point, we can basically, I personally have a huge question mark as far as what is the direction, and not only for Apple, to be honest, but for the market in general. It is obvious for all of us that the market is right now a very headline reactive market. And for those reasons, I do think that there is question marks all over the place, and of course the market doesn't like that. That being said, I guess the only thing that I can rescue out of this move is the fact that it didn't break 233, but at one point Apple was up 4.6%, I believe, and then you managed to close basically 5 points below that. So not a good look. This is a massive candle with a lot of volume, 101 million shares, compared to the prior candle, which this is twice as much volume traded today versus yesterday. And you can see on the volume on each of these candles, this is a very heavy, massive candle. RSI is looking down again, and the MACD is not looking, I mean, it's not looking terrible, but it's not great. And the RSI definitely has no strength. It looks more neutral than anything else. So maybe that is, I mean, if you want to have any type of hope. But also, if we keep in mind how, in my opinion at least, bad was the earnings for Apple. This company is not growing, is not innovating, and is not coming up with anything that is really gonna wow anybody. It is losing a lot of market footprint in Asia, and that is obviously a very, very large market. And and it seems like Apple is not really looking or seeing what is really happening in front of them. It is surprising that people like us, like retail investors or traders, can see that, and leadership in Apple seem to be acting more like managers rather than executives. That being said, that's what I have for Apple. It's not looking good with this type of candle right here, but I don't know. Maybe tomorrow or Monday we manage to break 237, and at that point we can reassess. But I was really thinking we're gonna fill this gap towards this week right here and maybe rebound on the 30 SMA. I actually moved my 35 SMA to a 30 SMA. I wanted to make a little bit tighter, and I still didn't manage, to maintain either the trend line right here or maintain that 35 SMA. Not good. Okay, let's go up and take a look at Affirm. And let me take a note right here really quick. Again, I guess Affirm was kind of flat for most of the day until we got the tariff news for Canada, China, and Mexico. And the problem that I see, as I just mentioned, is that we are again in the middle of a very headline reactive market, and you are going to get these kind of moves, which complicates things when you're trading this type of stocks, because stocks like Affirm, for example, could be a little more volatile. and could change direction very quickly. Now, we have seen this type of move in every single name. Like we're going to check on Tesla later on, and Tesla also had a dip right after this news. I mean, Tesla is definitely going to be affected by tariffs. Now we close under this level of support. We close under the 30 SMA. Again, I changed my 35 SMA to a 30 SMA. We close under. MACD and TSI are not looking bad, really, are not. RSI is pointing down. That is fine. We're still in a level of low liquidity here, which could be worrisome because that could propel you to the downside or the upside with the same kind of volatility. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, the setup is still not bad, in my opinion. We are going into earnings. I think earnings for Affirm is on Thursday. Yeah, Thursday after hours, I believe. Yes, after hours. So we'll see how that goes. But so be cautious on how you trade this name. Again, the chart is not looking terrible. It was down 1.6%, but you had a very nice move from 51.5 all the way to where we are right now, 61. So a little of a cool down doesn't hurt, in my opinion. But we'll see how we react. I think next week is going to be very tough. I think that every time that Trump says something, that the market is just reacting in a very strong manner. And I said this in prior videos, it takes me back to 2017, 2018, when it was, challenging to trade. And then I end up migrating into more boring names such as Bank of America, JP Morgan, Costco, Walmart, stuff that is mostly slower. Okay, let's take a look at, I'm not doing AMD today. AMD is still in the same situation, which is not a good one. Reporting our earnings next week as well, I think is on Tuesday. Now let's do Bitcoin. And, Bitcoin also moves with the market. Some people like to say that Bitcoin is an asset that is, is not attached to the market, but in reality it is. And it's susceptible to news, and it's susceptible to what we do, what happens. Like on the election, we had a nice, on November 5th, we had a nice move to the upside, and then we had a continuation. Now we're having a little bit of, or at least today, I shouldn't be saying that we're having a downtrend, but today you can also see this move. And now look at this, it's moving slowly to the upside. I think that as long as we maintain 99 or 100 and we stay between this range, 9 and 100, we're in a safe stage. Right now, it's very neutral. Nothing really is going on. I like the fact that we're accumulating here on, as far as liquidity, we are on an area of accumulation. So that is, I'm cool with that. You're still on top of the 30 SMA, which is fine. I don't think I need, maybe I should stretch this just because of this week and see how that goes. But again, I guess, as long as we stay in this range, I think we are in good shape to the upside. So I'm more bullish in this case, as long as we maintain support. We break support, we break the 30 SMA, and then we might actually find ourselves on our way to 92. But for now, I think I'm staying bullish on Bitcoin. Now let's take a look at Costco. I mentioned Costco in my last video. Unfortunately, yesterday I couldn't make a video because I was busy, but Costco is still moving to the upside in a very nice manner. Let me do something. Is the anchor? Yeah, it's right here. I wanna do something here. Nice. Yeah, and this is the anchor VWAP. I'm adding this to some of my names. And again, because of how the market is reacting, I just want to add, that's why I changed that 35 SMA to a 30 SMA. I just want to be more, I guess, surgical and precise with my entries and especially with my entries. Well, that being said, Costco is still moving very nicely. I think it's going to hit 1,000. It's probably going to get to this level of resistance, which is here. And then we can reassess what the move is. I've been trading Costco since this candle I sold on, I think this candle I got back in this little candle I sold, I think it was on Wednesday that I sold. But this continue moving, which is very nice. I like the move. MACD and TSI is still looking fantastic. Nothing here is extended. We just crossed the zero line, so this move still has legs to continue going. It would be fantastic if we go down into support 962. You're still over the VWAP, and you still anchor VWAP, and you're still over the 30 SMA. And at that point, I think if we come down, which would be optimal for me, I would probably jump into Costco again. I think the move and the trend is going to go towards the 1000 price, and then we can see if we're going to double top or if we're going to break and then get into price discovery. But Costco is looking very, very nice. Now let's take a look at a name that is also, I think, Google. Let's talk about Google. And I think Google is going to have reports. I'm looking down. Let me take a look. I think it's on Tuesday. Yes, for some reason I thought it was last week, but no, it's Tuesday after the bell. So it's looking very strong coming into our earnings. I wish these indicators were a little bit lower under the zero line. Not an entry. I'm not going to entry on this. I don't want to trade. I don't want to trade earnings, to be honest. Not in this environment. I did trade earnings back here, and I was right in this consolidation, and I sold on this candle right here. That was nice. Then we had these moves, blah blah blah. It was very choppy because of the Department of Justice getting into Google's business. It was choppy. It was a difficult trade. But I think this has really more legs. It has more momentum to continue going to the upside. If Monday breaks support, I think that would still fine. You're still having this, higher lows, which is fine, and you're still under the trend. You're still on the 30 SMA. It's not a bad thing if you break support. I think if they have a bid on earnings, obviously we're gonna move past 210. So this name is not looking bad coming into next week. Very strong move at 1.5% today. Let's take a look at the 5-minute. And didn't have a much of a hit after the news of tariffs in the middle of towards the end of the trading session. You had a little more of a sell-off after hours. So you close at 204 after hours. So you are right on top. You are right here, right on top of support. So it still didn't go into support. Let me go back. I just want to keep, you're still above support and above the lower of the low. And you still close like after hours. You're still above the opening for the day, for Friday, for today. Not bad. Google is looking strong. Okay, let's move on and talk about this other name that we have been talking about for forever, I guess since May of last year, and that is HIMS, of course. And a very incredible day, in my opinion. 9% all-time highs. I told you we were gonna get all-time highs after this move. It was I shouldn't say obvious, but it looked like it had legs to continue going. MACD and TSI back here were under the zero line, and they started to have, to curl towards their signal lines. MACD had a nice divergence, and I'm sorry, the TSI, and now it has a nice divergence here. I think this move has a little more legs. Now you can come back down towards 35.35 and maybe continue going down. Even you can go down towards 29.7. I think this level of support is turning very strong already. You have very nice liquidity as well. But I think we're consolidating in between this area of price action between 25 and 30. So I don't think these levels are necessary at this point to be worried about 23, 21, and 18. So we don't have to worry about this. I think the worst case scenario, you come back down towards 25.5, but at least right now, I doubt it. 29 point or 30 could be, a little bit of a pullback. But again, this has legs to continue going up. My price target for HIMS in the long run for this year is $75. So we still have over 100% to go. RSI is a little bit extended, which is fine. And again, I think if we get like a, a couple of points to the downside on Monday or whatever, I think the RSI would be under 70, would be fine on that case. It would be actually healthy if you retest support and then continue going up. This is looking fantastic. This level of resistance was strong. You were rejected here like 3 trading days or 4 trading days in a row, and now you were able to break with momentum. Volume is also increasing, so it's not looking bad. Very nice. I took advantage of HIMS right on top of on this area. I was using the 35 SMA, so this was a little bit wider. But still, this move worked out. I got rid of my position already, and the reason for that is that's my way of trading. I like to take my money every time I can, and also the fact that the market is so reactive right now. I just don't want to leave money or trades just hanging there. But look at the chart on the 5-minute. Absolutely solid. News didn't do anything to this. HIMS is just moving. Beautiful. One of the best days of the day. Very resilient. To be honest, look at GitLab. GitLab was almost 5% today. I didn't know. And JetBlue. Okay, let's move on to another name that a little bit of a bummer, to be honest. But let's talk about Nike. And I was really. It was funny because I was gonna buy lips, lip options for. I think I was planning February or March of 2026, but my trigger was breaking this level of resistance, and it didn't. So getting into at 80, I was gonna get lips, and it didn't happen. Unfortunate. So you had another rejection on this level, and I think that it's important to keep in mind that there are some levels that work as confirmation. There are key levels for a reason. And just like what we have on Celsius, for example, if you don't break 35.7, I don't think that name is tradable. Now, what we have on AMD, if you don't break 134, I believe, or 135, I just don't want to go back to that chart. It's not tradable in my eyes. Even if you break in AMD, I'm talking about AMD, even if you break 120 on AMD, and I think we might be over 120, I don't think it's tradable. So the same thing is happening here. So yeah, AMD is at 116. You weren't able to break 80, and in my opinion, why risk it? Right now, keep in mind, if you were able to identify this level of support and take advantage of this move towards 74, 75, that's fine, that's cool. This is a very nice move. You went from 70 to basically, that's a $10 move. If you're buying options, that's not bad. That's actually a nice profit, you know. But if I want to get something that looks more solid, and I want to let those options sitting there, like in other words, I want to let them run. I want to see a better way of area of confirmation. This level right here of resistance wasn't strong enough for me to make me think that there's going to be a continuation. Now, nothing is said right now, in my opinion. I do think that I'm just putting an anchor VWAP right here. I do think that we definitely are entering into a difficult period of trading. And for that reason, I'm looking into names that are really giving me confirmation on for entries to the long, to the upside. Now, if we're getting tariffs for 10% on China, like a lot of products are gonna have I guess an increase on price, and of course you're gonna see the market reacting to that. Anyways, Nike didn't work, didn't break resistance at 80, and for now it's a no-go for me. Now let's take a look at NQ, and you know, it's not looking bad. Yeah, you have this candle right here that tells you that sellers to control. But what's new? I mean, we already knew that sellers were gonna take control or took control after the news. So you see this reaction here. There is, nothing surprising. Now, I do think that we are in the middle of a very neutral situation right here as far as NQ goes. You're right on top of the 30 SMA. You're on a solid level of liquidity, so that's not bad. And you still have a very strong level of support, which is 21.3. So we'll see how we react on the 30 SMA, which can break next week if things continue this to move this quickly, this fast, and this volatile in this such a volatile manner. And let's really keep an eye on 21.3, which is this level of support right here. That's all you have to look at for for support. And again, I think that next week we have a lot of earnings coming next week, and I think also that news next week are gonna still pretty crazy. So buckle up. That's what I have for NQ. Now let's take a look at what am I doing? Okay, let's do NVIDIA. I'm just questioning myself. Why am I doing this name? Now a lot of people are very positive on NVIDIA. Um, I'm cautious on NVIDIA. MACD and TSI look horrible. If anything, this tells me that the divergence that I see between the signal line and the TSI line, the same on the MACD, is telling me that this is going to continue going down. If you break 117, you're going to meet 110 quick. That's it. You're already under that 200 SMA. I don't care what you tell me, you are under that level. Now let's put an anchor VWAP. VWAP. I said VWAP. VWAP. And nothing really. No indication of anything on it. It's right on the 30 SMA. They're moving in a very similar manner. But again, I don't like the divergence that I see in these indicators. I think this is probably going to continue going down towards 110 as long as you break 117 as your level of support. Now let's move on. I really don't have anything else to say about NVIDIA right now. Let's move on and talk about Palantir. So Palantir is reporting on Monday. Is it before the bell, or I think it's after the bell, right? After, yeah. You have this got rejected on this level right here. So you went right over this level, which is all-time highs. So you went right over here. Very nice. And you were maintaining, and then as everything else, you came down in a very violent way. Okay. So one of my fears that I have is that as far as if you only tell me about how I'm seeing at this chart without earnings coming, I would be worried that this is a double top formation and you're going to start coming down. That's what I see. Now, you also have Palantir that has been having great earnings for at least, I think, a year or so. It's been moving very, very nicely. So they have to beat, guidance has to be impressive. Everything about Palantir has to be impressive on Monday. And if that isn't the case, I think this is really going to come down towards at least 66, maybe lower. I think another thing that I've been really thinking about is we might actually see a sell-off on the market for a minute. And it's going to provide us with a very nice opportunity to enter a lot of names that are very stretched. Palantir is one of them, in my opinion. It's at $84. It's at a new all-time high. And it's not looking that promising, at least as the way I'm seeing the chart right now. Now, MACD and TSI are not stretched at all. They're not very... I don't see anything bad with this indicator, with the lower indicators. They are not extended at all. RSI is not extended either. It's not overbought. So in that respect, maybe you can argue this might continue going up. That's fine. But earnings have to be great. Guidance have to be great. And Palantir leadership do a very, very good job at giving the best guidance and very convincing guidance for this company. So um, let's wait until Tuesday, right? Until Monday afternoon and see how we get any reaction on Tuesday. Right, let's move on. Let's move on and let's take a look at Reddit. And a name that I have been mentioning for a while. I've been trading this move. I traded here and I traded right here, and now it's cooling down a little bit, which is fine. I would love to see this coming down into this level of support, to be honest, at 182. That would be fantastic. Then the RSI is cooling down, these lower indicators are cooling down, but for now it's not looking bad. It's maintaining this level. This has legs to continue going up. I don't have much to say about Reddit right now other than keeping an eye on this level of support right here at 182, and then keeping an eye on how we're going to behave into maybe overnight trading on Sunday night, and then how we behave pre-market on Monday morning, and then we might see a nice position. But again, trading next week, I think in the next few weeks trading is gonna be a little bit challenging. So be mindful of that. Now let's finish this video with Tesla, and it's not looking bad. I mean, not the best looking candle, but obviously you had bad news, and then you got a rejection on 415. I'm not too comfortable under 415. I'm more bullish over 415. So we just have to keep an eye on how we're behaving on these lower indicators. How are we behaving on top of this trend line? A lot of people were using this trend line up here. I like to put it down here because I want to see how it's retesting the trend line rather than how it's retesting it on the top. I want to see how it behaves in the bottom. So that's what I have for Tesla. Tesla is going to be critical to see how we behave. Look, you got rejected on the VWAP. How we behave, and again, just be cautious on trading. And next week is going to be, I think, quite eventful. Not only next week, probably this month, or who knows. I think that the more Trump tries to push his agenda, which I think short term is going to be painful, but long term might bring us actually a very nice economic boom. But I'm thinking maybe we have to go through the pain first. And that includes the market as well, right? So be mindful of your money and how you manage your entries and your exits. And that's all I have for today. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you, everybody. Please like the videos and subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.